slideshow. Okay. At the last class, we have covered the concept of linear combination. So every vectors in R3 can be represented as a linear combination of the three unit vectors, I, J, and K, like this. Okay. Now today we're going to run section 1.3, projection and vector equations. Vector equation of lines, vector equation of planes. Okay. This method using the vectors works well, not only for two-dimensional, in the two-dimensional spaces, but also in the higher dimensional spaces. Okay, suppose we have a straight line like below. Suppose we have a straight line L like this. Okay. What is the nature of this L? This L, this line what's the nature of this line L? This line has a direction like this. And this line is not same as the line at here, isn't it? So this line has a direction like this and passes through some point on this line. Okay, so this line has to pass through some of the point on this line. So let's say it's a P0, and it should have a direction to this way. So it should pass through this P as well. So any vectors, any lines can be represented with a point vector that the line passes through, and the direction vector that that parallels to the line L. So the line can be written as what? It passes through P0, 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 and this is a direction vector from P0 to P, and the line is a linear scalar multiplication of dA. So TA. So if T is equal to 1, then this is same as this A, and T is bigger than 1, then it's over this lines like this. So anyway, so the line, this line can be written as the TA plus a point that passes through, like this. In this way, in other words, P minus P0 can be a direction vector A, and the scalar multiple of T give all the lines like this. So from this line, we can see this P minus P0 is on this TA, and this can be written as the P is equal to P0 plus TA. This is a vector equation of the line. Not only in R3, it is also the same work for R5 or R10 as well, in Rn as well. Okay. Any vector, any lines in the n-dimensional space can be written as this vector form. Okay. So important thing in this equation is the position vector and the direction vector. That's it. If you have a position vector and the direction vector A, okay, which is then you can always have a vector equation of a line that passes through this position vector P0 and on the direction way. Okay, vector equation of the plane. C. So we found that the TA is equal to P minus P0 represent that vector equation of the line. This can be written as P is equal to P naught plus TA. Okay? So this is called the vector equation. And P and P naught and A are given as before. Okay? And this vector equation can be represented in other words, like this. So P is a XYZ point, and P naught, P0 is 2 minus the x naught, y is in the Deutsch is called not. 0 is called not. But I call it a 0 here. So x0, y0, and z0. This is the point P, P0. And TA is T times this vector A like this. So this vector equation can be written in this way. This is a vector equation. But this vector equation can be written in the other way like this. X is equal to 2 minus 3t. Y is equal to minus 1 plus 2t. G is equal to 3 plus 4t like this. Okay? So we call, in this case, P and P0 and A was given like this. Okay, we call this, so these two are equivalent. They are same. They are telling the same fact. But representations different. In this case, we are using a parameter t to represent the equation. So this equation, this set of equation using a parameter t to represent the line. So we call this is a parametric equation. Okay. Also, so do you understand what's the difference of this? So these parametric equations is direct implication from a vector equation. If you have a vector equation like this, then parametric equation just follows. Okay? Then here you can see x minus x0 is equal to TA, and y minus y0 is equal to TB, g minus g0 is equal to TC. So if you divide it by A, B, and C, then x minus x0 over A is equal to T, and y minus y0 over B is equal to T, and g minus g0 over C is equal to T. So they are all same value T. So these are all same with T. So without T, then there is no parameter, and this satisfies from here. In this case, so this equation, this equality, represents the same property that this vector equation has. So they are same. They are representing same line in a different form. In here, there is no parameter t. So we call, but as you see, it has a symmetry in the equation. So we call this is a symmetric equation over line. Okay, got it? Okay. So if you know the vector equation, the others are just easy fact that you can draw from there. Easy form of the equation that you can draw. Parametric equation or symmetric equation is a direct implication of a vector equation. Okay? And okay, there are lots of information in here that you can practice. Okay, here, well, example 1. Find the vector and parametric and symmetric equation. Suppose we have a position point here, P, and a vector, direction vector V, like this. Then we have a vector equation, P is equal to P0 plus TV, like this, isn't it? So, vector equation, this one, can be written as xyz is equal to 2 minus 1, 3 plus t times this direction vector, like this. This is a vector equation. Okay? Now, from here, the parametric equation can be found easily. X is equal to 2 minus 3t, y is equal to minus 1 plus 2t, g is equal to 3 plus 4t. So this is a parametric equation of this line. Okay? And from here, x minus 2 over minus 3 is equal to t, y plus 1 over 2 is equal to t, g minus 3 over 4 is equal to t. They are all same. So this can be written. And this is a symmetric equation of that line. Okay. Example 2. Find the parametric equation for a line that passes through the point P and Q. From these 2 points, we can find the direction vector from P to Q. So you just subtract from Q, find the Q minus P like this, then 4 minus 1, and minus 1, minus 1, and 0 minus 2, which gives us this. This gives us a direction vector. And just choose one point that this passes through. Then will be if we choose the first one here, then direction vector, the position vector is this point, which is R0, and this direction vector V is here, and multiply T. So what do we have is 1, 1 minus 2 plus T times this direction vector. This is a vector equation. From here, we can easily find the parametric equation like this. Okay? So this is a very easy implication. Next, point normal equation of a plane. This may be a new concept for you. Okay? And also this is very important. But some of you already learned from the calculus class. But I will explain once more here. The plane can be written as this equation, ax plus by plus cg plus dg equal to 0. Plane can be written in that way. Okay. Line can be represented as ax plus by plus cg equal to 0. Isn't it? Plane has one more variable like this. Okay, this is a plane. If we have a plane like this, then this vector ABC from the coefficient of x, y, and z, like this n, this vector n, is called the normal vector to this plane, which is it's orthogonal. It's orthogonal to this plane, this vector. Okay, what is the nature of this vector to this plane? This vector is orthogonal to any vector on this plane, isn't it? It's orthogonal. So if you have a vector here, and there is another vector which is orthogonal to here, the inner product of those two vectors should be 0. That's what you learned in section 1.2. Inner product and angle and orthogonality. That's what you learned in section 1.2. Okay, so if you choose a point, this is a 1 point, just a position point vector P0, then you choose any vector on this plane. Let's say this is x, y, and z. This point. This is x0, y0, and g0 point. And this, just choose any point x, y, z that satisfies this equation. Okay? Then we can find the direction vector from P naught to P. Okay, then n times the inner product of n and this vector should be 0. That should be satisfied. Okay? Okay, those vector, those point, those set of those point will form a plane, which is orthogonal to the normal vector. Okay, so this n vector, the normal vector n times x minus this p point, x minus p. Let's say this is a p and this is x. Okay, then inner product of this n and this vector should be 0. Then set of those x, y, set of those vector x should be on this line, which is orthogonal to the normal vector. Okay? Okay. So this represents the plane that you have seen in here. So this plane can be represented as a point that satisfies this equation. Okay? Okay. So that's why this n times this direction vector can be written in this way, and this satisfies this. This can be written in this way. These two things are same, isn't it? This is ax plus by plus cg plus some constants, which can be written as d. Okay? That's it. So if you satisfy this, if you find the vector x that satisfies this, that should satisfy this, and that comes from here, that gives you this equation. So this is another way of writing the plane by using the vector and inner product. Okay. Next. Okay, vector equation. See, now a plane can be written as a vectors. Actually, linear combination of vectors. Let's see. If this is a kind of plane, then this plane, if you have two vectors, v1 and v2, then any vector on this plane, let's say it's x, can be written as a linear combination of these two vectors, like this. From here to here, arbitrary vector, arbitrary vector from x naught to x can be written as a linear combination of these two vectors. Okay? So any vector on this plane, let's say x minus x naught, this is any vector on that plane that passes through this point and on any point on the plane W, then you can draw a vector which has that direction that passes through this point x0. Then what? This vector can be written as a linear combination of these two vectors, v1 and v2. Okay? So, this plane is a set of this vector, this vector x, x1, xyz, and this the set of this vector that satisfies this equation. So this is a vector equation. So this can be written in this way. This is called the vector equation of the plane W. You understand? So this plane can be written as a linear combination of these two paths, like what you did on the line. So vector was used to represent not only a line, but also for the plane, two-dimensional plane. Same thing can be happened for n-dimensional plane, or n-1 dimensional planes as well. But anyway, yeah, we start from this two-dimensional plane, like this. So this is called the vector equation of the plane. As you see here, this is a vector, this v1 and v2, any vectors on that plane, can be used to build up the vector equation that shows all the points on this line, on this plane W. And parametric equation of that plane. Suppose we have a vector equation like this, then parametric equation is what? X is equal to x naught plus t1, a1 t1 plus a2 b2 t2, y is equal to y0 plus b1 t1 plus b2 t2, g is equal to g naught plus c1 t1 plus c2 t2, like this. Okay? So like what you did. Before we had only this part, now we have another variables, two parameters, because we are dealing with the plane, not the line. Okay? So this is called the parametric equation of the plane. Okay? Same concept. Here's an example. Suppose we have 3 points, then find the vector and parametric equation of the plane that passes through these 3 points. How are you going to find it? How? Just find the two vectors. Just find the what? Find the PQ and PR. Okay? Then you have two vectors. The linear combination of those two vectors form a whole plane. Okay? Find the two vectors PQ and PR, which is this. So, and with this, the linear combination of those two vectors and passes through one point. Let's say this x0 is the first point P. Okay? Then x0 plus t1 this plus t2 this vector forms a vector equation of the plane that passes through the whole plane. Okay? And then parametric equation, we can use this vector equation to find the parametric equation of the vector. Okay, here x is equal, can be written in this way, y is equal to as x0 minus 1t1 plus 5t2. And g can be written as this, and this, like this. So this is the parametric equation of the plane. This is what you can do. So, can you do? Okay, this is easy. The next, projection. Consider the two vectors x, y, and with the same initial point q, and represented as x and y like this. And s is a put of the perpendicular from P to the line containing OQ. Then OQ is called the vector equation of y onto x, and is denoted by projection of y onto x. Like this. What this means is this. If you have a vector x and y like this, you are looking for the projection of y onto x. Then which means is if you have a right here, then that's the image, that's the projection. If you have a right here, then projection of this vector onto x is what? This should be this one, isn't it? Which is a scalar multiple of t, x. Scalar multiple of x. So this can be written as a tx. We call this tx as a projection of y onto x. Got it? projection of y onto x is this. So this projection of y onto x, which can be written as p, is same as what? Scalar multiple of x. This should be equal to tx. Okay? And if you add this vector and that vector, then it should be y. So let it be y, w. Then y is equal to p plus w. So w should be y minus p, like this. So this figure, you can understand easily the concept of projection. And the next problem is how to find the projection. How to find this vector p. Okay? For non-zero vector x in R3, we have the following. Projection of y onto x is a scalar multiple. This vector is some part of x. So this vector p is a scalar multiple of tx. Okay? tx. And this t should be this value. This is inner product of x and y and x, and this is the inner product of x and x. Okay? So this is a scalar and this is scalar. So t should be a scalar value. And why this t should be this? Okay? We will learn in details 2 times in this book. Okay? Mr. Gangnam, okay? Can you explain why this value t should be this? Mm-hmm. Oh, you are not Gangnam. Yes. Is Gangnam is not here today? Gangsan. Yeah, Gangsan. Sorry. Yeah, I expect you to explain why these three values should be inner product of these. Okay? In Q&A. Okay. And Eddie. Mm-hmm. I will give a full details of proof later. Example 4. So here, if we have x and y like that, then find the projection. How? Just this is a t times x here. T times x like this. T is the inner product of y and x over the inner product of x and x, which is the value 15 over 14. So this should be there. And what? W is just y minus p. So it comes like that directly. So we can easily find it. Okay. And this is a code to find it. Mm-hmm. And the next, this is the theorem that you always see. Actually, you have seen it in the National College Entrance Examination. For a point P0 and the plane pi, the distance d from the point to the plane is given by this value. Why? Who can explain? The shortest distance from this point to this plane should be this one, isn't it? So we are looking for this length, the length of this vector. But finding this vector and the length of this vector is not easy. But fortunately, we just learned the concept of projection. If we find the projection of this vector onto this normal vector of this plane, A, B, C, this is normal vector of this plane. If you find the projection of this vector onto this normal vector, then this vector and this vector has the same distance, isn't it? So if we find this projection, then all we have to do is just find the length of this vector projection. Just norm of that vector, isn't it? That's the whole concept. Okay, projection is like this. If you have a sun like this, then the image of this vector should be this one, not here. If the light is here, then this should be an image. So this vector and this vector has the same. Okay, this is the concept. So we are looking for the projection of this vector v onto n. We are looking for the projection of v onto n. So we have what? T times n. Okay? This is a t times n. T is the inner product of v and n over n and n. Like this. That's why we have this vector, this scalar here, which can be simplified in this way. Okay. So the norm of this is a norm of that. So this norm of this is just is simplified in this way, which was asked to find. That's it. Important thing is actually you have learned the same thing for finding the shortest distance on the lines in the high school years. Now you are learning finding a shortest distance on plane, three-dimensional spaces. This concept can be generalized to finding the shortest distance in n-dimensional space as well. Okay? This inner product can be defined in any n-dimensional spaces, Rn, and this norm is also defined for any n-dimensional vectors. So the same concept can be used for finding the shortest distance in Rn. Okay? So you can use it when you are learning the small convenience store, which has a much larger size vector than R2 or R3. Okay, now find the distance d from the point this and plane this. From here you can easily find the normal vector n, 1, 3, minus 2, and here's the point. So t times n can be found in this way. So you can easily compute it. Okay, this computation can be done with this. This is a very simple computation and redundant. So all you have to do is find the vector n and find the t and multiply it and find the norm of it. Find the vector and find the n and v and find the projection vector and find the norm of it like this. So this code shows how you compute this, which gives you. So this, I told you, this is not only work for the vectors in R3, it also work for the vectors in Rn, R10, R25, etc. Understand? Okay, so the same code can be used. All you have to do is expand these vectors in the higher dimensional vectors. Okay. I built it up a code here, that's the laboratory for the section, chapter 1. You can check it. Here, find the vectors, then you can add and subtract like this. As you see, the answers are exactly matches it. And you can find the vector addition and scalar multiplication, and you can find what? You can find the linear combination of these three vectors to represent these vectors, like this. And as you see, they are all same. And you can do the same thing. You can do the linear combination of the vector. You can find the linear combinations of the vectors. Not only for the vectors in R3, but you can do for the R4, vectors in R4. The linear combination can be done easily. And with those vectors, you can find vectors and the linear combination of the vectors. You can find the inner product and orthogonality. You can find the norm of the vectors. So this will be used to find the shortest distance later. You can find the norm of the vectors like this, and you can find the inner product of two vectors like this. You can change the vectors of not only in R4, but also R5 or R10 or R25. You can find the inner product of any vectors of any size. You can check whether the given two vectors are orthogonal or not. Okay, these concepts are used to find the projection, and this you can find the angle between the vectors like this. Okay, but also you can check the vectors in not only R3, but also vectors in R4 or R5. You cannot draw it on the paper. Okay? But still you can find the angles between those vectors in R4 or R10 or R25. Okay? You can find the norms and the distances, and also here. Today we have covered the section 1.3, equations of line and planes. Here we learned the projection and the vector equation of the planes. Yeah, today we have covered the example 1 to find the vector and parametric and symmetric equations, and find the parametric equation for the line passes through the 3 point, and find the vector and parametric equation of the plane passes through the 3 point, like this. This is what you've learned. All this could be done after you find the vector equation easily. Okay? After you find the vector equation, then parametric equation and symmetric equation can be followed. Here, find the projection. Projection, the last part that we have learned today. Projection could be found in this way. Okay? Projection of y onto x, which is t times x, and t is 15 over 14, like what you did. As you see, the projection of y onto x is this. And p minus y minus p is w, which can be found in this way. This can be done for any vectors that you have, for any size as well, not only R3 vectors. You can find the distance of that projection. Like this. That's the shortest distance that you did find by hand calculation. But if I give you a very complicated problem, then you may have to use the tools like this. And all the solutions can be found in here, not only for chapter 1, but also chapter 2, 3, and 4, 5 as well. So you just study, and if you find any things that you don't understand, if it's not clear, not only a computation, but mainly on concept and the proof, ask it through the Q&A. Okay. I think that will cover the chapter 1, and you are asked to solve some of the problems in the book, and change the problems for a little larger size or more complicated problem of yours, then submit it in Q&A. That will be counted as your homework and will be graded to give you credit. Next, we will continue the chapter 2. And chapter 2 is a linear system of equations. And my lecture was saved in YouTube in English and Korean. And also you can find it in iCampus, so you check it. And also I made a laboratory on my homepage. So what is the easy way to solve the large size linear system of equation? You can solve a small size linear system of equation by hand. But if it's a 5 by 10 matrix involved, then it's not easy to solve it by hand. So we have to find the algorithmic approach to deal with any kind of linear system of equations. So this is the starting point of it. We will continue this chapter 2, and we will finish it up in this week, and we will continue chapter 3 next week. Any questions? Okay, so we will continue the chapter 2 next week. Any questions?